TIFU. I muted family chat on WhatsApp and ended up at a formal party dressed like a hobo. I tried to post this story a month ago, but I guess it was my newbie account, or too many mistakes, and it didn't go through moderation approval. I corrected it a little, maybe this time it gets published. Well, I don't use English daily, and I've always been terrible with past tenses. Also, I might be a bit drunk. Please forgive me for any mistakes. So, basically, we have this family chat on WhatsApp. We mostly use it to exchange photos, links, and memes, but it's also kind of a bulletin board where people post announcements about upcoming family gatherings and events. When I joined, I muted it almost immediately because my phone kept blowing up with endless photos of kids doing kid stuff. I love my family, but at some point, I was just done. I'm a terrible person, I know. Still, I've never worried about missing a party because my mom is super responsible and always calls me in advance to remind me. So, this Friday, my mom called me. Mom, do you remember the housewarming party on Saturday? Me. The housewarming what? Mom. John and Dorothy's party. It starts at 4 p.m. Check WhatsApp. Somewhere deep in my brain, a light bulb lit up. My cousins had discussed this party almost 2 months ago at the last family gathering, and, oh, right, I had agreed to come. So, I decided to bake an apple pie. Everybody in my family loves apple pie, and it's quick and easy. You can't go wrong with a good apple pie. Unfortunately, I worked overtime on Friday and didn't finish until 7 p.m. That meant I had to buy apples from a big supermarket instead of the better quality ones at the market. I was still hoping to find some nice sour apples, the only ones suitable for baking. Well, of course, the supermarket had about 5 types of apples, none of them good for baking. I cursed under my breath, Googled the types I didn't recognize, and went with the least juicy ones. The next day, I baked the pie. It looked perfectly normal, great, so I was hopeful. At 4 p.m., the pie was packed, I was in my coat, and I was ready to go. The party had officially started at 4 p.m., but I was planning to arrive at 5 p.m., fashionably late, as always. I opened the WhatsApp group to check the address. Well, fuck. Dorothy had specifically asked everyone not to bring food because they had catering and didn't want anything to go to waste. Moreover, they'd shared a list of gift ideas on SharePoint. It was a fantastic list, including cheap options like €5 glasses from IKEA and more expensive items like a coffee set. Unfortunately, all the cheap items left were only available online, which wasn't an option for me. But there was one gift they wanted in unlimited amounts: plants. I thought, oh my god, great. They even included a list of plants safe for kids and pets, and a list of toxic ones. Reading the second list, I realized my 2 dogs and my cat were probably very lucky to still be alive, considering that every single plant I own is on the toxic list. When dressing for the party, I went full casual. What does that mean? Well, I have this 2-month-old pile of washed clothes sitting on my desk, waiting in vain to be ironed. I don't even know what's at the bottom of the pile anymore. Each morning, I dig through it, fish out some random clothes, grab 2 mismatched socks, and head to work. My family and coworkers know me, so they've learned to accept my hobo look. This day was no different. I chose gray leggings that had seen better days, a wrinkled white sweater, and 2 mismatched socks, one white, one gray with stripes. I hadn't washed my hair either, so I threw it into a greasy half ponytail with a random scrunchie. I didn't even bother brushing it. Looking like a true lady, I jumped into my car and drove to the nearest DIY store with a plant section. I found a plant from the safe list, all right. As a matter of fact, I might as well have walked into the store and yelled, "Give me the most expensive plant you have." It was a magnificent Areca palm, tall as hell. I wasn't even sure it would fit in my car. €45. I was running really late and still needed a pot, soil, and LECA. The only nice pot I could find was €50. In total, with LECA and soil, I spent €100 instead of €5 for IKEA glasses like my clever cousin Johanna, who had claimed that item a month ago. So, there I was, in my white sweater, in a freezing 3 degrees Celsius parking lot, repotting the fucking Areca. I finished, begged the Areca not to die from the cold, and went to clean my hands, only to discover that my white sweater was no longer white. I tried to clean it, but that only left it soaked and covered in a massive muddy stain. Ah, perfect, but it's just my close family, right? They know me and accept me as I am. On the way to the party, some jerk cut me off, and I had to slam on the brakes. 2 things happened. The leftover bag of soil spilled all over the passenger seat, floor, and poor Areca. Most of the Areca's leaves broke off. Still, the pot was nice. I figured they could always replant something else in it. It's just my family, right? Well, wrong. I mean, I should have guessed. They did right that they ordered catering, and who the hell orders catering for 10 to 15 people? especially when it's just a housewarming party and supposed to be a small family gathering. So, I entered my cousin's house and proceeded to the dining room. I fucking froze. There were like 50 people there. All the elders were dressed elegantly, and the younger generations looked like they were heading to a business casual office party. And then there was me. Standing there in my once-upon-a-time white sweater, with greasy hair, mismatched socks, and a half-demolished plant in my hands. An evening to remember, for sure. I will never, ever mute the family chat again. Too long did not read. Muted family chat on WhatsApp. Didn't read updates. Showed up almost 3 hours late to a formal party with greasy hair, mismatched socks, a muddy sweater, and a €100 plant I destroyed while driving there. Never muting family chat again. I feel like every single step that went wrong in this story could have been prevented by stopping, taking a deep breath, and thinking for 5 seconds. It is a very nice gift though, and the plant will grow back quickly over the summer. I'm sure they will appreciate it every time they walk past it at home. This stressed me out so much. Next time take a shower, tears of joy. You really sound like a mess. You showing up unwashed and in ratty clothing is not as quirky as you seem to think it is. Still, I've never worried about missing a party because my mom is super responsible and always calls me in advance to remind me. Your mom isn't going to be around forever. Stop putting the emotional labor of maintaining familial relationships on her. It's not her responsibility to inform you of the contents of the group chat that you're already included in. I think it's fine to mute a family chat. I've done the same. You just need to open it up regularly to check through the messages and make sure you don't miss anything important. Which you did, lol. RIP. Today I fucked up by causing a family drama over the delivery room. So I'm 35 weeks pregnant with my first baby and thought everything was going great until today. I've always planned for it to be just me and my husband in the delivery room, but my mother-in-law has been pushing for a spot. She keeps telling everyone it's a family tradition for her to be there. I thought I could just set the boundary and everything would be fine, right? Wrong. I told my husband I didn't want her in the room because I want it to be a calm and private moment between us, but of course, that didn't go over well. Now he's stuck in the middle, and his mom has been telling everyone I'm being controlling. She even showed up with a hospital bag, acting like she's already part of the plan. I feel terrible, but I'm also standing my ground. Now I'm dealing with a guilt trip from my husband and a full-blown family drama that wasn't in the birth plan. Too long did not read. Tried to keep my birth plans private and calm by saying I didn't want my mother-in-law in the delivery room, and now there's a family drama I didn't sign up for. Inform the hospital that you only want your husband there, so she cannot barge in. Fuck that. I wouldn't even allow the conversation to come up again. Your husband is stuck in the middle because he chooses to be in the middle. He can shut this down easily, but he doesn't want to. How much of a mama's boy is he? Has this happened before? Tell your medical staff who is and who is not going to be in the room with you. They will enforce it, but later you and your husband have to have a long talk about boundaries. Prepare for your mother-in-law to interfere in everything if boundaries are not set. Yay, how dare you be controlling about your own medical procedure, Glad I listened to my wife about not having anyone else in the delivery room. Would have been too much action going on, and we probably wouldn't have been able to watch South Park reruns for most of the event like we did, lol. My aunts convinced my mom to get over it. You tell your husband that when he is ready to sit naked in front of your mother and push a human out of his body, then maybe you'll consider it. Until then he needs to have your back or he can also miss out and you'll find someone else who's fully supportive of your decisions to be there to support you. This is your body, your moment, your choice. No one else gets an opinion except maybe the doctor, midwife. You didn't foo at all. Don't you dare feel guilty, it's your body that is going to be vulnerable here. Hubby shouldn't be in the middle, he needs to side with you. Today I fucked up by wrapping Santa's presents in the same paper as the normal presents. So my wife, 43 female, and I, 43 male, have 3 kids, ages 11, 9, and 7. Not sure if the older 2 still believe in Santa, but the youngest does. But this year, we wrapped the kids' presents all in the same wrapping paper and put them out after the kids went to bed last night. After waking me up and drag me downstairs at 6 a.m. so they can look at their stash, I'm sitting there drinking my coffee and the youngest says to me, "Dad, did you get Santa's presents?" Me, still not fully awake. What do you mean? 7 Oh. Our presents are wrapped in the same paper as Santa's presents. Did you get them? Me, on alert but still not functioning properly. Well, what do you think happened? 7 Oh. I think you got them. Is Santa real? Now at this point I know I'm screwed. While I don't mind fudging answers on occasion, or not answering completely, or leaving things out, I do believe that direct questions require direct answers. Me. We got the presents, Santa isn't real. 7 Oh, with tears gathering in her big blue eyes. I can't believe you let me think Santa was real. Me. feeling the sting of her disappointment. Do you want a hug? 7. Why? Oh. No, I need to be alone for a moment. And she walks off, head hung down, and goes into another room and shuts the door. I can hear her weeping quietly as my heart hurts. Luckily, I think all the presents distracted her. So all's well that ends well? TLR wrapped Santa's presents in the same paper as our presents. Now our 7-year-old no longer believes in Santa. We killed the magic on Christmas Day. Sometimes Santa sends parents extra wrapping paper when they run out. Okay, who here grew up in a house where Santa didn't wrap his presents? This is why our paper has every holiday image and color except pics of Santa. The rolls with Santa on them live behind my desk at work and didn't commingle with our paper. It's also well known that sometimes the elves work late getting stuff together, so sometimes Santa wraps them at your house, even using your tags and bows. Santa gave them to us to wrap for him. Wouldn't have been that hard to keep lying to them. Now they know the secret of Santa, they get to be Santa for someone else. You have to reframe it for her so she appreciates the realization. Well, would you rather Santa not be real, or are you okay with a strange old man who watches you sleep sneaking into the house in the middle of the night?